Welcome to Men's Class A Baseball. For the first time on record, we're covering the St. Louis Park Convicts, your Class A baseball team from the city of St. Louis Park. This is Men's League Baseball, and they're hosting the Edina E-Sox. This is the first game of a best-of-3 playoff series, as both teams are in the Riverview League. I am John Fromm, and I'll be announcing the game today. Just a nice shot of with our crack crew of the water tower here. We're here at Derek Keller Field, and this should really be a nice situation tonight. A lot of high-quality ball players on both teams. This is men's Class A baseball, if you're not familiar with it. These kids are, I should say, these men are 18 or over. A lot of these guys played Division I or II or even Division III baseball, and both teams are loaded with players that played at Park, which should make it good, and including the Edina roster. And for the Orioles, towing the slab today is going to be number 23, the veteran Pete Fuller. There you take a look at the Edina batting order. Let's take a look at Bobby Otto. He's a St. Louis Park grad who graduated a couple years back and is up at St. John's. He'll be leading it off in right. Nick Lear played at Edina High School. He's playing second. Eric Nelson, the shortstop. Jake Schmeezing in center. You see Andy Bartz in left field there. Brady Sand at third. Jack Schiesinger, excuse my pronunciation, at catcher. Kyle McDermott at first base. And Christian Erickson, also a St. Louis Park grad from 2010, will be the DH. And there you take a look at the veteran southpaw Pete Fuller. He is no stranger to competitive baseball. And these teams met last year in the best-of-3 playoff series, and St. Louis Park won 2 out of 3 games. And so we should expect a good battle tonight as well. We should mention that these teams split during the season, and we didn't get a chance to show you Pete's stats on the year, but Mr. Fuller is 5-3 on the year with a 1.56 ERA. So look around the infield there. Matt Paulson, the third baseman, one of the longtime stars in men's Class A baseball, a 91 Park grad. Mike Luck over at shortstop. Dave Lindstrom, a veteran player. Mark Bierman, a Park grad up at the University of North Dakota at first. Chris Duda, another Park grad in right. Mike Arlt and Parker Stennis in left field. And leading it off, you take a look at Pete Fuller there having a nice little conversation with his catcher. Joe Pierce, the veteran signal caller, gets the nod behind the dish today. And here is Bobby Otto to lead things off. As we mentioned, Bobby, a 2011 Park graduate, played for Chad Osted when Park was the section runners-up, and then also for a year for Aaron McEachran. See some good velocity and nice repertoire as he gets ahead of Otto early in the count here. Got a little time. We've already got a stoppage as something has came out of the field in left field. So Fuller, as we mentioned on the year, 5-3 with a 1.56 ERA for the left-hander. Park also has a left-hander in John Galise, who's had an outstanding year with a 6-2 mark. A little bit inside with that fastball, and will even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Otto, right-handed batter, slightly open stance. Got one hit up the middle softly. Little 6-3 put out that time as Mike Luck throws it over to Casey Garvin, playing first base today for the Convicts. And yes, indeed, that is their nickname, the St. Louis Park Convicts. Nobody with a record that we're aware of on the team, but they certainly want to intimidate their opponents. Nice look at Bobby there. Batting second for Edina, this is Nick Lear, the second baseman. Don't have full statistics for Edina, but I've got an assortment for St. Louis Park, so I know Lear was a good high school player at Edina. Little 1-1 1-0 fastball gets over there, and that'll even the count at 1-1. Gabe really pounds the strike zone. Chopper hit to Paulson at third. Paulson a running throw and a nice throw over to first to Garvin. We mentioned Matt, a 91 Park grad who played Division I baseball at Northern Iowa. He's been a stalwart in men's town team, as has Duda and some of the other guys out here. So 2 quick outs for Pete Fuller, and he's got to be happy about that. And that'll bring up the number 3 hitter for the East Sox, Eric Nelson, playing shortstop today. That one popped up high. Should be a playable on the infield here. And a nice job, and a 1-2-3 inning, and only 5 pitches on the inning for Mr. Fuller. So you just what the doctor ordered if you're a St. Louis Park fan. And if you just joined us, this is men's Class A baseball. These teams play with wood bats, and St. Louis Park started playing with wood bats in 1998, and then everybody in the Riverview League joined in 2003. So it's one thing that is really added to the game and emphasized more defense, etc., and pitching as well. But there's certainly plenty of long balls that are going to be hit as well. So take a look. The left-hander getting the call today is a young man who's had a lot of success, Alex Lampert. The pitcher today for Edina. His catcher will be Jack Schmeezing. And there you take a look at the Orioles batting order. Arlt in center, leading off Joe Pierce, the catcher. Paulson, as we talked about, batting third, playing third base. Dave Lindstrom at second. And then you got Mike Luck at shortstop, Chris Aduda in right, Garvin at first. Mark Bierman, as we mentioned, another Park grad. He's at UND. He'll be DHing tonight. And Parker Stennis, who just graduated from Park and will be going to Concordia in the fall. There you take a look at Alex, and he was, I believe, the MVP of the State Legion tournament, or at least one of the big horses for Edina last year. He plays at St. Olaf and just finished his sophomore year. Last year, after his freshman year at St. Olaf, that young man came through and was just one of the big aces for the Edina Legion team that won the state title. So pretty good pitching matchup and a couple of lefties with a nice arsenal. Take a look around the outfield. It's Bart Schmeezing and Otto, Sand, Nelson, Lear, and McDermott on your infield. And Jack Schiesinger will be doing the catching today for Lampert. And this is Mike Arlt playing center field, leading off for leading off for St. Louis Park. That one hit hard to first base, and a really nice defensive play by Kyle McDermott, and he's going to be retired on one pitch. Nice little line out to first base. You take a look at the St. Louis Park lineup, and another big hitter in the St. Louis Park attack here. This is Joe Pierce, who's doing the catching today, number 33. Slightly open stance. He's got the orange and black Nikes on. Park with white uniforms, a really nice uniform adorned with black and orange lettering and orange stripage. That one chopped down. Nice play by Lampert. Oh, it went off his glove, and he's going to beat that out. Probably going to be, I'm not sure if they're going to give an infield single there, but a nice piece of hitting by Pierce. He didn't get a lot on that, but Lampert, I don't know if we have the replay of that. Lampert busted off the mound quickly, got down the third baseline, tried to field it with his glove, but unfortunately for him, it went off the tip of his glove, and that'll bring up Matt Paulson, one of the feared sluggers. Matt has a lot of career records for St. Louis Park, and is also hitting at .429 on the season this year. Strike taken away that time to Paulson. As we mentioned, he's a 91 grad, so Matt's still playing hard at age 40 here. I know Pat Fix, who was an 87 grad, is also still in the team. Oh, and that one's hit hard into the gap towards right center, and nobody's going to get that. That's a one-hopper over the fence for Paulson. A ground rule double for Matt Paulson. I don't know if we have the replay of that, but he launched that fastball that was a little bit on the outside corner and just rocketed it into right center field. Beautiful piece of hitting by Paulson. Take a look over there at Pierce, who reached on that infield roller. And that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Dave Lindstrom, for St. Louis Park. Couple of convicts on the pond, so to speak. You see that ball just cranked out. Hit about 340 to right center with a wood bat. That was really tanked. Nice job by Lampert getting ahead there again. Lindstrom, 1 year, had 17 doubles for St. Louis Park. Up near the career record, Paulson holds the career record in doubles for St. Louis Park. I've got all kinds of statistics we're going to throw at you, courtesy of the manager, Chris Duda. 1-1 is the count here. That one peeled foul, back out of play. Kind of pushed a 1 ball and 2 strikes. Seen a lot of fastballs so far, but I know Lampert, besides having an 83, 84 mile an hour fastball, I know he's got an arsenal of variety of pitches. I saw him pitch once last year for Edina's Legion team. And in with some high fastball there. Just try to move him a little bit off the plate, and that'll run it to 2-2. 2-2 as Lampert goes from the stretch here as a left-hander, since he doesn't have a good view of our Alta. Excuse me, Pierce. Ooh, and Lindstrom with a nice job just spoiling that off-speed pitch and able to ride along with a 2-2 count. Lindstrom hitting a robust .552 on the year. 15 for 29, I believe, or 16 for 29 with a pair of homers. Down and in, and that'll make it a full count here. Those numbers are right, .552. Lindy doesn't play a full schedule anymore. As we mentioned, St. Louis Park has had roughly 47 games on the season. Paulson with a lead at second. Pierce at third. Breaking ball, just hammered foul. Got a little piece of that slow curve there, and he looked like he was ready for it because he tanked on that one. Orioles have we mentioned Paulson officially leading the team with a .429 average. He's got 43 RBIs, and Joe Pierce, who's at third base, has 42 RBIs, and he leads the team with 6 home runs. Little change up away, and he's able to miss him there. So really nice at bat for Lindstrom. He fouled off a couple, worked the count full, and that'll load the bases for Mike Luck there. Mike on the season, also doing well with a .343 average, couple of homers, 32 RBIs. He's third on the team in ribbies. Little breaking ball, start him off with a curveball. He's got a very close stance. If you take a look, I don't know if we get a close-up of that ball, but his feet are about 8-10 inches apart, so very unusual. A lot of times guys use a wide base nowadays or go to a no-stride approach when they're hitting, but his feet are pretty narrow there, so full. Lampert. Little fake there. As we mentioned, bases are loaded. There's only 1 out here. We're still scoreless. Chris Duda, the player manager, on deck for St. Louis Park. Nice job on that fastball. He's able to run that by him, make it 0-2 here. Good speed on that Lampert offering. Both teams, this is game 1 of the series, so both teams are throwing, quote unquote, their ace or their big gun here. And again, he gets him with a fastball, so he goes really tight with the fastball there and is able to record the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up one of the more feared batters as well in men's Class A baseball. This is Chris Duda, a 2000 Park grad. Chris hitting .337 on the year. He played at Concordia College in St. Paul and was a Division II all-conference player. A little high with that fastball. He stands right on top of the plate. I don't know if you get a read on that because of where the second base umpire is, but you see where that left foot is there? He's got that almost practically in the catcher's box, and he's right on top of the plate. He gets hit by tons of pitches. There's a nice slow curve for a 1-1 there. So he's done a nice job, Lampert, mixing it up, throwing the fastball, some curves. I've seen him throw a couple changes.
Knock it down, getting out. Let's get out of here.
One and one with 2 down, bases full of convicts. And if you heard me right, it is the St. Louis Park men's Class A team. I need to get a look at the facial hair on Chris Duda. Down and away with that offering, will put it at 2-1. Duda was in 2000 when he graduated from Park. He was also a hockey player, and I know Chris was the MVP of the Play Ball Minnesota series, which is 80 players from around the state, the best seniors, and he happened to be the MVP. With his curveball as well, and he's going to take that for strikes too. So 2-2. Lampert mixing that up there. Infield playing deep and all around. Outfield straight away. That ball chopped hard to third base. A nice defensive play that time as Brady Sand able to corral that, and he just made sure that he went down to make sure he made the play because he had a force at third. So Lampert able to get out of that jam there as after the kind of the lucky infield single on the swinging bunt, Paulson banged an enormous double out to the fence and right. Lindstrom drew a nice walk, but he was able to retire the next 2. And after 1 inning, we're still scoreless here at Keller Field. We'll be right back here.